What is the last message to the people out there, people looking to buy, to sell, to invest? What would you tell them to do?
What I would advise them again is
How are you doing, Ilya? What are we going to talk about today?
so today we're going to talk about the current market condition, and we're going to focus nationwide. At the same time, we're going to do some comparison on our local market. We're going to start from the most hot topic out there is the mortgage rates. There is some good news. Finally, some
All
good
right.
news. And I would say a great news because as we saw a dramatic incline on mortgage rates on 2022, we see a decline, and the decline has been from November of 2022 to February. We have almost 1% like interest
Drop.
rate has been declined, drop, right? We did experience that on some of our listings, right, Alex?
Exactly. Yeah, we really saw that. We saw the market shift, and although everybody was saying in on January we're gonna get so much inventory, we saw the exact opposite. We saw so many buyers going after less listings. Right? We had a listing for 2 months, and then that weekend that this happened around close to February, this listing had multiple offers on it. Right, Ilya?
Yeah, it did. It did actually. Yeah, we experienced multiple offers, and we actually experienced multiple offers on. We had about 3, 4 listings at that time.
So let's go to the next slide. Let's see what this means for the market. Right?
Yeah, again, this is very interesting slide for both buyers and sellers. We can see that the decline on interest rate or the drop on interest rate on the 6% between 6 and 6.5 actually created a good buyer demand, and
Exactly.
we experienced that in our listings again. And in one of our
Exactly.
listings, we had about 90 groups of buyers. It was an entry level listing in Dedham, Massachusetts. We experienced about 90 groups of buyers. We had multiple offers on that property, and
Exactly.
this is a good news for the seller, because if you are a seller and you are thinking that there's no buyer demand out there, actually that's not true. The buyer demand is very strong, and
Exactly.
if you think of selling, you should go on the market right now. And
Exactly.
also, if you are a buyer, you don't have to wait, because if you wait for the rate to go down, what that's gonna happen, we're gonna have a stronger buyer demand. And if you like a property and you want to put an offer, you'll be again in multiple offer situation, and you have to
All
pay
right.
more for the property to secure that property.
Exactly. And not only that, but you're gonna have so much more competition, and then the inventory seems like it doesn't get any better. So you might not even find a house, let alone get one, right? So you gotta be working with somebody that's aggressive and gives you the right tips to get your own house, right? So let's see
Yeah.
what's going on in the next slide, Ilya. What do we have here as a projection? What do we see here?
So what we have here as a projection is that from 2017 to 2022, all the buyers or most of the forecasts out there were saying that we're going to have new listings coming on the market as a result of the maybe upcoming recession, as a result of the increase on interest rate. Everybody were thinking that we're going to be flooded by new listing coming on the market, and we're going to have an increase on the housing inventory.
Exactly, but this is what really happened, right? It's a totally opposite, but you can see it does follow the trend of every other line. So it's like these people that they put out this report saying, hey, it's gonna be so many listings and we're gonna have so many listings in January. They don't factor in history, they don't factor in people that they have 2 and 3% interest rates locked down for 30 years. And maybe if there is no change in their family, like moving up or maybe sizing down, there is no reason for them to move from their house because they have a great rate locked down, right, Leah?
Yeah, everybody that were able to refinance on maybe 2 or 3 years ago, they are locked into this low interest rate, and it's going to be more costly for them. Even somebody who has a bigger home and then moving to a smaller home, then maybe their monthly payment will be the same. So
Exactly.
it doesn't make any sense for them to sell a property and buy another one. The only market that it's remained strong is the first time home buyer market. So they're moving from a renter to a
No.
homeowner. Again, this is the new listing that has come down. So if we compare the January of 2017 through January 2023, we see a decline on the new listings coming on the market.
And just like we said, right, we see decline because there is not too much inventory of existing homes, and then the builders took a little pause the past 6 months, right, Ilya? What do we see in the new construction?
Yeah, the builders were very concerned when the interest rate were increased because, again, the builders, they also have lived in different cycles of markets, and they said that, hey, with this increase on interest rate, the buyer demand will come down, and they experienced that the buyer demand coming down last year. However, this doesn't show in reality because we are seeing now that the buyers probably they accept the fact that, hey, this is the interest rate. I need to buy a house. I have to go on
Exactly.
the market. I have to move from this property. The rents have gone up. So for
Exactly.
them, the cost of renting has been even higher. So
Exactly.
they are now thinking that buying a house is the best investment.
Right. It's very interesting. We see a record low on this slide. We see compared to the last like 6 years, January of 2023, it's a record low of new listings, which is very interesting. So about this slide, right? Goldman Sachs has been around for a long time and they put some very in-depth reports, but they got this wrong as well. What do we see here? They said on January 10th, they put out a report saying that we're going to see a home price reduction by minus 0.61%. And then they went out and they revised it within 14 days. They said this, we're going to see a home price reduction by minus 2.6%. Like you see, like somebody that's reputable, somebody that does their homework, like Goldman Sachs, they still got it wrong. So you cannot just depend on reports. You have to be on the market. You have to have a feel of the market. You have to talk to people like me and you, Ilya, that they're out there every day and like see how the market is changing day by day, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all these companies out there, they put all these headlines about the real estate market. I would say a local real estate agent will be the best source for you in terms of to know how the market is right now, because we experience that every day. I mean, a report will come out. They're probably going to go back to 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, even 6 months to create a report. But a real estate agent, is 24/7 in the field,
Right.
and he knows what actually is happening,
Right.
which
Real-time
properties are
data, right?
selling, which properties
Exactly.
are not selling.
So moving on, let's talk about the negativity, right, that we see in the news. What do we see in the news every time, right?
And we know negative news are gonna attract more attention. So, and this is another proof that 67% of Americans saying that the housing market crash is imminent in the next 3 years. And
Right.
there are some other news out there, like U.S. foreclosure filing surge 115% in 2022. U.S. foreclosure activity doubles annually, but still below pre-pandemic levels. Foreclosures filing rose 115% in the past year. So,
Right. But what's the reality, right? Let's see what people are saying here. This is a great thing to read. So Atom is a very reputable company. They say a leading curator of real estate data nationwide for land and property data. Today released its year-end 2022 U.S. foreclosure market report, which shows foreclosure filings, default notices, scheduled auctions, and bank repossessions were reported 300,024 U.S. properties in 2022, up 115% from 2021, but down, and that's the most important thing, right? Down 34% from 2019. So what do we understand from this, Ilya?
the fact is that, let's say, okay, we have an increase on foreclosures filing, by 115% compare from 2021, right? But again, if we compare from 2019, we had less foreclosure filing, by 34%. Also, what's more interesting here, that the foreclosure filings in 2022 were down by 89% from the peak of nearly 2.9 million in 2010. And we know what happened in
Exactly.
2010, real estate crash or the
Crash.
big recession. Yeah. And you can
Exactly.
see, I mean, these slides can prove it very accurate. So what do you see here,
Yeah.
Alex?
So what we see here is actually perspective of what is exactly is going on in the market, right? You can see from 2005, we had like 533 new foreclosures, and then we had a peak in, and the worst of it was 2010. But then if we go to the recent years, right, you can compare 2022 to 21, and then yes, you have more foreclosures, and then even 2020, you have more foreclosures. But then if you go back 2018 or 2019, you're still significantly less foreclosures than a normal market, right? Because before the virus, that was a normal market, and these were normal statistics. Like 500,000 foreclosures would be a normal thing. We're still significantly under that, right?
Yeah, then we have to understand that foreclosures are happening in every market. So
Exactly.
it doesn't have to be a recession to experience foreclosure, because foreclosure can
Exactly.
happen for different reasons. If you are a husband and wife, there's a divorce and you lose your one income, or there's event in the family that you might lose an income and you are unable to pay it, then you'll file for
Exactly.
foreclosures. And we have foreclosure filing in every market. The
That's
difference
right.
here is
And
that the foreclosure doesn't mean that it's a real estate crash. So real estate
exactly.
crash, we have like close to 3 million foreclosure filing, which happened in 2010. But on 2022, we had only uh, very very low number,
Exactly.
324,000 foreclosure filing, which is
Right.
under the normal filing that we see,
Exactly.
every year.
And, and, and by the way, Leah, we can see here from 2005 to 2010, the foreclosures keep increasing. And as we can see on our 2018 to 2022, that's not the case here. It's simply not the same situation at all. People like to compare it, but you can see there is clearly an increase on one side of the chart and then a decrease on the other side. And then let's move forward and see exactly what's the average and what's going on, right, Leah?
I mean, again, as I mentioned before, foreclosures filing are happening on every market. And we know that the average foreclosure filing between 2017 and 2018 has been close to 598,000 and
Exactly.
118 filing. And then we see from that year, we have a drop. We are 50% less than what the normal foreclosure filing should be on a normal real estate market. So if you are waiting there for foreclosures or real estate crash to happen, I don't see any indication. And another thing I
Exactly.
wanted to add about foreclosures, because we have seen that on the market here and there, and in our markets it's very limited. When a buyer would listen or think of a foreclosure, they would think that they'll buy something at a discount. But as the number of foreclosures going down, the lenders or the lien holders, they're not going to sell a property at a discount when they have only one property on the market. They're
Exactly.
going to sell it at a fair market value. So it doesn't
Exactly.
matter it's a foreclosure. If that sells at a fair market value and doesn't sell at a discount price, or if that foreclosure doesn't affect the other properties on the market, that doesn't mean anything. And the other thing, most of these foreclosures are so distressed, then the only buyer who will be able to buy those will be a cash buyer.
Exactly.
So if you are not a cash buyer, uh, even though it's a foreclosure on the market, you might not be able of buying it, or
Yeah.
you'll be competing with a cash buyer, and
Exactly.
then you're going to lose. So by
Exactly.
waiting to buy a foreclosure property, I don't think is the best strategy in today's market.
And like you said, that's the most important thing. When you compete with a cash buyer, the cash buyer can offer fast closing, they can negotiate harder, and you're just, you don't have a chance. And you don't even get a deal, like you said. It doesn't even seem like a good deal nowadays, right? So let's move on to here and some projections. What do we see here? There was the projection for the rate.
I mean, as we see, all these companies are projecting that the interest rate is going to decline by the end of the year. I mean, these all reputable companies and everyone, they forecasting a decline on interest rate, and which again, will make that buying power stronger. If we see a decline on the interest rate. So
Exactly.
if you are a buyer and you see a property that you like today, don't wait. Don't wait, but try to secure that property. And also, if you buy something at a high interest rate, there'll be an opportunity for you to refinance in the future. So don't be
Exactly.
afraid of this high interest rate that you see right now, because maybe in the near future you'll be able to refinance, but you were able to secure the property
Right.
that you like, maybe your dream property. It will be a great news for the buyers and the sellers out
Ex-
there that are concerned. Yeah.
Exactly. And one more thing I want to add here is if you're in the market for buying a house and you really want a deal, call your real estate professional, call your real estate expert and ask them, hey, can you get me a list of the things that they're staying on the market for a long time, maybe a month, maybe 5 months, maybe 6 months. And you can get these lists and maybe see if you can negotiate these prices down, right? That's why you should be reaching out to people because, yes, although the market is still hot, yes, although there is not too much inventory, there's still things that they stay on the market for a while, and a professional can kind of like guide you the right way to get these deals and see maybe if you can get a big price reduction on those, right, Ilya?
Yeah. Not only that, yeah, we advise our clients that, hey, if you like to negotiate a price, you have to go after a property that has been on the market more than 30 days. But
Exactly.
if you go and buy a property that just came in the market and that has high demand, then most likely it's going to be really hard to negotiate the price. However, a great real estate agent will be able to negotiate you a great deal. And to
Exactly.
me, a great deal, even it's also by winning in a multiple offer situation, it will be a great deal for you because you'll
Exactly.
get into that property sooner. You'll buy that property and you're going to compete the other buyers. You're going to
Right.
go from that rental situation much sooner. So you're not going to be wasting that money in rents, but you're going to buy the property. So it's very
Right.
important that you work with a great real estate agent, a great professional, maybe a great team. And we had some successful stories with some of our buyers that we helped in the past, that they were able to not just secure the property, but we were able to negotiate a great deal for them about the
Exactly.
price, the interest rate.
And not only that, right? Because we had a deal recently that our guy was against a cash offer and we still won the bid, right, Ilya? So people say, hey, I don't think you can compete against cash offers. But yes, if you make the offer the right way, the way you kind of guide us to do, you can definitely get the deal, even if you compete against cash and you make a strong offer, right? So it's crucial to work with somebody that knows what they're doing and that have the experience, right? So let's go to the local market now. Let's talk a little bit about the Brookline market. What do we see here? Yeah.
So on the again, the Brookline market is one of the hottest market out there. I mean, we see a couple of information here that the unit sales went down by 71%, and this is also for the lack of inventory. We see the medium sales price has gone down by 40%, and this also it's compared from January to January, right?
what I was gonna say is that the price, the median sales price, maybe a big house comes on the market, and then it affects the whole market, right? So it's not a very fair way
Yeah,
to look at it sometimes. Now, what else do we see here is the days on the market, which is actually contradicting each other, right? Because the days on the market are less now, right, than what they used to be. So things that they are priced the right way, they sell much faster. And then at the same
yeah,
time, the price per square foot is a little lower, 12% down at $691 dollars per square foot. Lastly, what do we see about the inventory?
yeah. The inventory. I mean, it says that the inventory has gone up a little bit in Brookline. So, and this also and the reason that the inventory has gone up because we don't have like the inventory on under maybe 1.5 million. We don't have homes. So we have more expensive homes in Brookline, maybe between $3 to $4 million. And actually, the more expensive homes, usually they stay longer on the market. And that's why we see also an increase on a month of supply. But if we compare our experience that we sold a property in Brookline, which was under $1 million, we had multiple offers. We sold a property over the asking price, and
Exactly.
also that seller was able to receive an offer with no contingencies. So
Exactly.
some properties are selling very fast.
So lastly, Ilya, how do you want to close this? What is the last message to the people out there, people looking to buy, to sell, to invest? What would you tell them to do?
What I would advise them again is talk to your local real estate agent, connect with a local real estate agent, with a real estate team, because they have the right information for you. They have the long experience working with buyers and sellers, and they will give you the best advice so you can make the best business decision.
Right.
And we can do this on a monthly basis, or just stay tuned and just follow us on our social media, and just subscribe to our YouTube channels, because we put very valuable information uh, to the local market on a daily basis, right?
Don't listen to the news. Listen to the people that are on the field, like you said. And thank you very much for the great value provided today. We plan to do this monthly, so let's keep doing it, right?
Thank you.